Hi everybody, this is Lara at pureelliottwave.com. I'm going to look at a new altcoin with you today. Next on my list to do is Tezos. Before I jump into that, I want to let you know that on my website I've got a new free ebook if you want to download that. I'll give you a link in the description box to my website below. It's just pureelliottwave.com, pretty obvious. And it's a technical analysis basics ebook. So this is the home page of my website. If you click on the button right up here on the home page, you'll go to a page that describes what's in the ebook so you can know if you want it or not. And it's a collection of articles I wrote over the years that I've updated and given new charts for and checked and fixed a few little errors in there. And it's going to cover some technical analysis basics like trends, volume, on balance, volume, ADX, trend lines, gaps, candlesticks, and a little bit of extras, targets using Elliott Wave, and there's an article at the end giving you 2 steps to a high probability trade setup. So if you want to go and put your email address in, we will email that ebook to you. Okay, let's jump into Tezos. This is Tezos to US dollar. I'm going to do an Elliott Wave count to see if it has enough volume to give us decent looking Elliott Wave structures, and then I'm going to do some classic technical analysis. So I've got all the data I can get for this coin from Yahoo Finance. Let's have a go at an Elliott Wave count. And it's hard to know where to start. You really have to start at a low, so I'm going to start here. But, okay, the reason why I like this one is it has the ability to form exponential growth. It's had a subsequent crash, and now it's showing some real strength again, and it's currently, another crash, it's currently at really low levels. So, if this one doesn't disappear, if it remains, this could be a very good buying opportunity. I'm going to start my Elliott Wave count down here at the low. And I'm going to start this with, I think, primary degree. And I'm going to consider, what if this is 1 and this crash is 2? And then we'll have 3, 4, 5 of an impulse. So 1 looks like a leading expanding diagonal. Let's have a look at that. Do the wavelengths work? Yep, and the trend lines are going to diverge. So, within a leading diagonal, subwaves 1, 3, and 5 most commonly subdivide as zigzags. Subwaves 2 and 4 may only subdivide as zigzags. Sometimes 1, 3, or 5, or all of them, can sometimes be impulses. So they can be an impulse or a zigzag. And 4 for a diagonal must overlap 1 and may not move beyond the end of 2. So this looks like a diagonal. But I don't know if 1 is going to subdivide as a zigzag or an impulse. Let's have a look. There's so much overlapping, this can't be. Oh yeah, no, this might work actually. This could be an impulse. Could this be here and here, and then is there an overlap between 4 and 1? No, there is not. Perfect. B looks like a pretty good zigzag. C, it doesn't look like a very good impulse, but not too bad. I think this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't look ideal because there's a disproportion between 2 and 4. I don't know if this one has enough volume to give us decent looking Elliott Wave structures. This looks pretty good. Well, except C doesn't look very good. C looks like a 3, not a 5. I think this is a zigzag. And this looks like an impulse. Nope, I have to put this here. But then there's an overlap. I don't really like that at all. I really don't think this one does have enough volume to give decent looking Elliott Wave structures. Let's have a look at volume. Let's bring that in. What's it doing at the moment? It's declining, and it's been really light. 69.3 million, 59 million, under 100 million, and now, in the bill, a lot more. A lot better now. So even here, 1.1 billion, 8.1 billion, 8.7 billion. In the future, it may have enough volume to give reasonable looking Elliott wave structures, and it might have enough within primary 2 to give reasonable looking structures. This looks like a double zigzag. I think B's some kind of triangle or combination. Let's have a look at the daily chart just for primary 2. Let's see if B could be a triangle. No, not if it's over there. Oh no, could be if it's... Oh, could it be a barrier triangle? I don't know if this is going to look very good. No, because the BD trend line is going to have a slope. For a barrier triangle to be valid, the BD trend line should look essentially flat. And this, it does, you can tell it's got a downward slope. I don't know. But it's very mild. I don't know. That doesn't look that good. That's the only Elliott wave rule that's not absolute, not black and white. The rule about where D may or may not end within a barrier triangle states that D should end about the same level as B, which isn't exact and involves an area of subjectivity, so that the BD trend line looks like it's essentially flat. This is mostly flat, and everything else looks like it would subdivide quite nicely, so I think I'll leave that there for now. Let's have a look at minus C. Can this be a complete 5-wave impulse? Does it have a decent look? No, I think I would want to put 1 here and 2 here, and I think I'd want to put 3 here and 4 here. I think I can see a 5 here for my newt one. Oh no, I think I want to put this here, and then I can see, no, I want that wick to be subminuet 1, and now this green candle subminuet 4, and let's put this at the high here. I think this could be some kind of combination. Flat X zigzag. Minuet 3 looks like a pretty good impulse. Yeah. Okay, that certainly could be over. Let's have a look at some classic analysis, and I want to compare this low for Tezos to its prior major sustained lows. So I have marked on my technical analysis chart, I've already gone and marked this high, this low, this high, this low, and this last high and this last low. Let's have a look, starting at the left of the chart. And we'll look at highs first, and then we'll look at lows. So at this high, this upward movement, and I think I've got this price chart on an arithmetic scale. Let's view it on a semi-log scale. That's better. On a semi-log scale, this vertical upward movement, or the upward movement to this all-time high, ends with almost vertical upward movement, and the last 2 days are almost vertical, and ends with a blow-off top. The last upward session here has a volume spike. There is strong volume to end. On balance volume made new highs with price, no divergence. RSI exhibited no bearish divergence at these highs. It did here between this high and this high. So if you'd looked at this here, you would have said that's bearish, and that was before the final upward run. And what did this close at? $4.30, and here it closed at $10.55, so that was a huge increase in price over just 4 days. Wow. So that would have led you astray, that short-term bearish divergence. It's not a very good swing high developed here. It's only one small red candlestick. So that would have been the thing to look out for. Wait until the swing highs or lows have developed and they're obvious before you then look for divergence between price and RSI, in order to have confidence if you see divergence that it's giving a signal. So there was no divergence at this high. RSI was deeply overbought and ADX was exhibiting a very extreme upward trend. Stochastics overbought and ATR showed an increase to the high. There was no bearish candlestick reversal pattern at the high. This is not a dark cloud cover. It doesn't look like it's closed within half of the real body of the prior candlestick. I would want to double check that because this is on a semi-log scale oh, it is. It has actually closed halfway through the real body of the prior candlestick in terms of price distance travelled. That's the correct metric to use. And so this is a dark cloud cover. So there is a bearish candlestick reversal pattern. Okay, let's look at the next high. This next high, 7th of May 2021, it had vertical movement just for the last 2 sessions. On the final session, it closed red with a bearish upper wick. This looks like, it's not quite a shooting star though, because there's a long lower wick. Or it's not a long lower wick, but some lower wick. Volume pushed price higher and it ended with strong volume, not the strongest of recent movement. This is stronger and this is stronger, but still very strong volume pushing price higher. At the high, RSI was not overbought and exhibited long-term bearish divergence between prior peaks or swing highs. So there was bearish divergence and almost a failure swing. The upward trend was not very extreme. Back here it was very extreme, and now just indicating an upward trend. Stochastics overbought and ATR declining toward that high, increasing on the last couple of days. And no bearish candlestick reversal pattern, or that there is a bearish upper wick on the final session. Let's look at the next high. Here's the high of the 4th of October. Again, this strong bullish volume pattern with a strong spike on volume on the last green candlestick. No bearish candlestick pattern at this high, but this candlestick here has a bit of a bearish upper wick. On balance volume made new highs with price. RSI exhibits bearish divergence from this peak to this peak to this peak again. 1, 2, 3, double bearish divergence and again a failure swing. ADX reaches very extreme back here and at the final high just indicating an upward trend. Stochastics overbought, ATR declining to the high. Bitcoin does that as well. And no bearish candlestick pattern. Okay, so 3 highs. Now let's have a look at lows. So it appears that it has a reasonably, not perfect, but somewhat regular look at highs. I would be looking for bearish divergence between price and RSI between swing highs. I would be looking for volume to actively push price higher, ending in vertical upward movement for the last couple of sessions or so. I would be looking for ADX to exhibit a very extreme trend at previous swing highs and at the final high maybe only just exhibiting an upward trend. And ATR may decline at the high. So I think this one, it's not going to be easy, but there are some somewhat reasonably regular indications of what it's doing at highs. Now let's look at lows. Lows tend to be a lot harder to identify for cryptocurrencies than highs. So this low here is the 7th of December 2018, and this is the first time the RSI reached oversold. At this low, there is a bullish candlestick pattern and a hammer candlestick pattern. There's no divergence between price and on-balance volume. There looks like to be a little bit of weak bullish divergence between price and RSI, and RSI reaches oversold and is deeply oversold for quite a while. And it reaches oversold on this candlestick here, which closed at $1.11 or $1.12, and yet it lost over 70% of its value after RSI reaches oversold. So just because RSI reaches oversold in the future doesn't mean a bear market can't continue for Tezos, because here it very obviously did and lost 70% of value after it reached oversold. But it does then exhibit some bullish divergence at this low. So between here and here on a closing basis, RSI is higher, price is lower. The downward trend reaches very extreme. It's above both DX lines and above 40, above 45. Stochastics oversold, and at the low, ATR declines after previously for the downward trend increasing, and at the low it declines. Okay, well, that would have been, I think, because this is also a hammer candlestick pattern, it would have been easy at this candlestick here to call for a low in place, but it wasn't. And this close here, just under 59 cents, and this close here, 37 cents. So it lost another nearly 50%, just under 50% of value. Oh, and volume spiked a little at the low, but overall shows some decline. Okay, let's look at the next low. At this low here, 21st of July 2021, $2, just over $2.10. Okay, let's move this up so I can see what volume is doing. Volume is so light, and this volume here, 86.9 million, and this volume here, 75. Okay, at the low there is a strong bullish engulfing candlestick pattern which does have support from volume, so there's a good bullish candlestick pattern here. But there was one here. This is a strong bullish candlestick pattern. Does it have support from volume? 266.1 versus 309. No, it did not. Here's another one after a bullish long lower wick. Does this have support from volume? 134.4 compared to 180. No, it does not. Here it does. So I think it's important for this one, if you're to have confidence in a bullish candlestick pattern, it must have support from volume. RSI reaches almost oversold, no bullish divergence at this low. On balance volume, let's drag this up so we can see it a little bit more easily. On balance volume does not look like it's making new lows with price, a little bit of weak bullish divergence there. ADX indicates a downward trend which is just extreme about the lows. Never reached very extreme, this downward trend. Stochastics oversold and ATR declining to this low. Okay, let's look at the next low. The current low, here we have a bullish candlestick pattern in a hammer candlestick pattern coming with a decline in volume. There is some bullish divergence between price and on balance volume. On balance volume is failing to make new lows with price from this swing low here to this low here. There was a nice bearish signal from on balance volume. Let's just move this up slightly. On this day, this was the day on balance volume gave a bearish signal, and that was followed by quite a lot of downward movement. That would have been a really good signal to take notice of. Okay, on balance volume at this last low exhibiting bullish divergence, price volume showing some decline, a bullish candlestick reversal pattern, RSI oversold, no bullish divergence between price and RSI at this last low. ADX indicating a downward trend which is extreme but not very extreme. Stochastics oversold, ATR increasing to the low. The other low we looked at, ATR had some decline at the end. So this is different, same, different. I think because ADX has reached extreme and RSI reached extreme, and there's a bullish candlestick reversal pattern with some decline in volume, and there's bullish divergence between price and on balance volume, I think the probability that this low is sustainable is reasonable. I'd say, I don't know, I would judge it to be maybe about 70%, 80% likely. It's entirely possible though that it could move lower and make one more final low, not too much below this but a little bit, and then exhibit double bullish divergence with RSI. ADX could reach very extreme. If that happened, I would be 90% confident in a sustainable low, but I think that this one actually could be providing quite a nice opportunity to throw a little bit of money at it and hold it for a few years. I'm going to buy a little bit of this later on today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you for all of your support and your ideas on what other coins I can look at with these charts. And thank you so much for all the support for my membership over the years at pureelliottwave.com.